Hello everybody, this is Dusty Circuit here, and this is kind of going to be the sequel to my how to install Multimc tutorial, and this is going to be how to install your Modloader and of course, then Optifine, because getting Optifine running is going to be a little bit tricky, but bear with me here. I'm going to walk you through the whole process, and then after that, how to install the mods you like. Or if you don't even want to use mods, you can just use Fabric and Optifine standalone. But if you want mods, it's not that difficult to do that. So anyway, how I got this open is basically right click and edit instance, and of course, there is a way to install Optifine without the Fabric mod loader, and if you've never heard of Fabric, well, of course, most of you probably know about Forge, but just recently, Multimc decided to stop supporting Forge. Like, here's this, they actually have this article here, and it mostly just goes over, like, well, Forge is different in 1.14, and they decided to just stop supporting it, which is rather unfortunate, but the good news is that there is an alternative to Forge that's called Fabric. And of course, to install Fabric, what we have to do is, of course, Multimc provides an option, a dedicated option for it called Install Fabric. And I'm guessing unless you run into trouble with compatibility, you want the latest version. And then if we launch that already, we should have Fabric already. I'm probably going to edit the video so you don't have to wait for Minecraft to load each time. And of course, as you can see, we now have Fabric installed according to that. Then you can close Minecraft and then go back to this window. But here's the thing about Optifine. Optifine, like, natively isn't really compatible with Fabric, and you need to install I believe it's this mod called OptiFabric to get Optifine to work. So, of course, we go to our web browser here and search OptiFabric. We're just going to make sure we're getting the latest version. So we'll download that. And while we're at it, we'll also grab Optifine. Or I think we already did that. Yeah, we did in the previous video. So I'm pretty sure you just drop in these two mods, and then it should work once you launch it, which will do that. And of course, do the magic of editing, where I'll see you once Minecraft is loaded. As you can see, we now have Optifine installed. And then, of course, Optifine, what Optifine does is it gives you all these gives you all these different settings, which I could go over these briefly, but what I would do is if you're on like a really slow computer, I'd recommend you turn all this stuff to the lowest setting. Like basically you could turn all this off. And yeah, you could just play around with this stuff to of course put everything to fast and turn everything off. I typically leave a lot of this stuff at high because I have a pretty good computer, but if you don't have a good computer, you want to do all. You could even turn animations off, but I guess we'll leave that on for right now because it does kind of affect the look of the game. I typically just bring max frame rate to. I typically have unlimited frame rate because from what I find, the VSync tends to kind of make your FPS lower than it can be. Like what it's supposed to do is make it like so it limits it to your monitor's frame rate, but in a lot of cases I've heard it doesn't do that very effectively, so I either go with unlimited, or if you want a frame rate, if you want an FPS cap, I'd go for, I don't know, if you're on a really slow computer, I'd go with 30, or I could probably go with 60, but I just like to have unlimited. And I like to have this on just so I could tell what frame rate I have even without having F3 up. Another thing is I typically change. This isn't necessarily an Optifine setting, but I go with. I don't really like the brightness on Moody, so I go with bright. And this isn't necessarily an Optifine feature, but the GUI scale, I typically go with it on 2 because it goes with my size of monitor, but depending on what monitor you have, maybe 3 or 4 might be better for you, but I go with 2. Anyway, let's just load up a world real quick to see. And of course, this is on minimum settings with no texture packs, so probably going to get pretty high frame rates here. But I mean, when I first started out in Minecraft, like I actually started out on my mother's computer, which I think that only got around like probably 30 to 20 FPS most of the time, but I think just from installing Optifine, I probably was able to even get it close to 60 FPS. And it was, or even if not that high, it was much smoother than it was before. Of course, as you can see here, I'm getting some pretty wicked frame rates. And some of you guys on weak computers are probably like, wow, that's amazing. And of course, if I turn down render distance, like, I'm guessing most of you guys on slow computers would be using probably 4 chunks or even below, but I mean, even with F3 up, I'm getting like at 300 FPS right now. And I like to turn off the fog just because I just don't really like fog, and it does I think even increase frame rate as well, turning that off. Yeah, and like right now I'm at like 300, 400 FPS, but typically I go with 10 chunks because that's actually the highest that Ocraft's view distance is set to, and of course at that much I still get easily like 200 FPS, which is pretty good. And I also like to turn off clouds as well. Like and also like even now I'm getting 300 FPS. So this has been my tutorial on how to install Fabric, Modloader, and Optifine. And of course, if you've enjoyed this video, remember to like and subscribe, and this will be Dusty signing out. And the next video is going to be about how to install mods. And I hope you have a great day. I hope you enjoyed the video, and stay tuned for the next one. Bye.